Hey, we're live. Hello, everyone. So we're back here,
Hi,
Cornerstone Cafe. So I'm
me.
May, and
I'm
we have
Alex.
hi,
Okay. Sorry.
and
Alex.
Marco. And
Yep.
so today I think we bring each of us bring a topic. So today I'm going to talk about NFT. And what about you, Marco?
Yeah, so I've been looking into animal health sector as an investment industry, so I'm gonna speak a little bit about that.
All right. And do you have anything, Alex?
I'm going to speak about something a little more abstract,
Okay.
something that deals with the invisible hand I was talking about, just to kind of
Okay.
elaborate what I was talking about last time. It's going to be short.
Okay.
Wow.
It's going to be
NFT is
interesting.
pretty abstract. NFT is pretty
Yeah,
abstract.
it can
And
be.
then
It can be.
and then and then Alex
Yeah,
is gonna offer something even more abstract. That's pretty cool.
yeah. So, I'll go first then. NFT. So, I think I want to give you a little bit of what is NFT and what we have ideas and perspectives on NFT. So, NFT is a token on crypto. It's called non-fungible token. So, when you want a token, I mean, we know Bitcoin, we know Ethereum, we know all the cryptocurrencies, and it try to represent financial, a part of a financial world, or a part of how to decentralize or tokenize, make things into small parts and use it as a money that attach to some certain assets. And then later NFT come along, and the concept of NFT is very simple. It's a token, and it's unique, and it's undividable. That's it. You have a
Mm,
token. And then people start to come up with the idea, if we have something super unique to you, only to you, then what you're going to do afterwards. So when people look at NFT, like we're going to create something great about it, and then they look at it the similar way when people say, hey, internet, it's born from a communication tool. You have a
mm,
communication tool. This is a way people can send message back and forth, or even to and later than from. It's slow, email slow, website slow, everything slow, but something great will come out of internet. So you
yeah.
have MS DOS and everything else, and then you build from that. So you have this communication tool, and then you have an internet, and then NFT. People were so excited because you have this tool of you making you feel unique. You have something of your own. So I think it's alongside of the car. It's alongside of a line of why a person modified that car in such a unique way, because they
Mm,
can, right? Because why people buy, not buying a house off the shelf, but hire architect like Alex, or hire somebody to make their house unique. I mean, everybody, even though humans are, they need some certain level of society, but they still want to be their unique self. So crypto try to adopt this concept, crypto space trying to adopt this concept very rapidly, and they first they're trying to do game gadgets. You have this spaceship, and this spaceship is going to be uniquely to you, and you can do a lot of things. So a lot of NFT is in the game. And when I was young, there are cards, the game cards. I don't know if you guys play it. I'm sure you must have
Magic the
heard about it.
Gathering.
What did you say? Come again, Alex?
Magic the Gathering.
Yes, yes, or those kind of cards. So you have some cards that they are collectibles, but now you
Hmm.
have NFT that also collectibles, and then you have timestamp on it, and not only timestamp, but you know where the NFT has been traveling, like to the famous guy. If Tom Cruise held this NFT for a period of time, then it's going to be super valuable. So you have this, or even if you have a classic car, and then if somebody is super hot, own that classic car, then that car is going to be super valuable, or it's in James Bond
mm,
movie or something. So I think it's similar concept, but now it breaks down to a representative of art piece, artwork, gaming options, or something unique that people
mm,
feel like it's affordable, and and then you can have it. But this is my question to you. Do you guys have any NFT yet?
I do. I do.
You do. Oh, because you
Yeah.
bought sand. I remember now.
I bought
Is it
sand, and
related?
also no, it's also my son took a class in NFT and Python programming, and he posted some of his work in OpenSea, and nobody's buying it, so I went in and bought some.
Did he know it's you?
Yeah, he knew. At first,
That's
he was
not a
like, "Oh,
surprise.
Daddy, somebody's buying my NFT," and then I show it to him. But anyways, the biggest sort of misconception in NFT that I think is existing today is that people don't understand how you can be non-fungible for a digital art. So for example, I think Alex and I, we had a conversation before. It's when NFT first came out. We were like, how do you make sure that this piece of art is going to be non-fungible? Where we are so accustomed to make digital copies of digital art all the time.
So it's a JPEG on blockchain, right?
Yeah,
Yeah, I think that argument was there, and a lot of people copied from one network to the next.
yeah,
So how can you claim that? I mean, then you need like some level of investigation to check like why this pictures in one network and then the identical pictures in another network, and then who really owns it. It has
yeah,
timestamp and all, but yet it is very arguable.
yeah. And I think this problem actually exists in sort of physical arts, not digital art, but it's harder to copy in the real world, whereas in digital world we make copies all the time of like the same picture.
Yes, and I think this is overlapping. I think this is the same way you find out which Louis Vuitton is genuine,
Yeah.
or which Mona Lisa is genuine, or which of whatever is genuine. I think it comes back to you need to have a level of inspection.
Mm.
But and then the thing is, if but I think community will learn.
Yeah.
Community will learn. So you will have a fan club. This is a part that it's very interesting, because I'm going to issue
But
out. Yes.
yeah, go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay.
Sorry.
Just I'm going to issue out NFT myself. But
Oh,
this
okay.
NFT is not to speculate. So this is not going to be sold in the market, or even not now. I don't have a plan for that. But everybody who joins my class, which I teach about investment, technology, crypto, and macroeconomics, we have a group of people. So they're gonna have this NFT figure, which looks like an astronaut, and then as
Uh,
they as and every NFT is gonna be unique, so it's gonna be different. And as they participate, they're gonna get more badges, because NFT can move and NFT can change. So I'm gonna give them badges, and then the helmet, it's gonna open a little bit so you can see a little bit of the face of the person.
mm,
It's a gimmick. I know it's fun, but at the end of the day, I'm not looking at today, tomorrow, or even 2 months from now, but 5 years from now, they're gonna have this in the network, and it's not going to be gone. It's going to be there, and it's going to be a timestamp of the things that they've done in the past. I look at my passport, and now it's quite
yeah.
sad because there's no stamps. It's all digital. But my old passport holds all the stamps. I saw where I've been, and all the funny stamps, and this country doesn't like this country, so they don't stamp next to each other and things like that. And I love the fact that I look through my passport and I see stamps. So the
Yeah.
same idea I'm going to apply to this NFT, and I can do collaboration. If you have something in Hong Kong and I have something in here, maybe we can do NFT collaboration so that we have certain stamps, certain cults, certain
Yeah.
cultures, certain things that tell people that hey, you belong in some club, but still you're very unique.
Yeah. But I think the idea is good. I think it's a great idea. The technology it's building for the future. It's an infrastructure. It just currently, I think it's harder for the community or the world to understand how NFT can can be beneficial for us moving forward. Because I think the arts are also still underdeveloped, if you will, because I guess there's such a long history for modern arts today, or like just traditional arts today. And digital art needs some time to kind of pick up these sort of great artworks and great digital artists. And then I think NFT will be a tremendous value to the society.
I still don't see NFT in a representative of art, like Mona Lisa or classical art, but maybe pop art. And I'm
Yeah,
not good at pop art. I have no idea what it is. And I know that it's very colorful and that's all I know. So, but I think NFT will be a representative of like game cards, pop art, or something that a bit swanky.
Well, I mean, can I chime in? Can you guys hear me? Well, I might
Yes,
have to
yes.
lean in a little bit. Yeah, I mean, I recall, I mean, when I first heard about NFTs, of course, I was a bit skeptical at first. Marco was actually there when I was joking around that, you have the picture of the gorilla somebody bought for 12 million. I went online and I kind of just downloaded the JPEG and I could have it for free, right? But of course, it comes. I think you touched on something very poignant in this NFT conversation. Is what is the value that it creates? If this is just a static picture that you could kind of have, in the end, who cares who owns it before? But if you're saying something that uh, has will allow you to create a community, right? A stamp of yourself, and also, as you said, it could change over time across ownership. You know that not only do you have it on digital record that you show people, oh, Tom Cruise had it before, but if someone actually, you know, like Tom Cruise, I don't know why we're using Tom. Tom
you're
Cruise would,
old.
yeah, Tom Cruise would actually go in and then be able to modify it and stick his face on it. And it's like Instagram videos where celebrities would pass on one thing to another celebrity, and then it gets. Um, I think that something like that would be, pretty interesting. And I was speaking to someone. I forgot whether or not Marco was involved in that conversation, but somebody was telling me recently that um, in order to begin, it has to be gimmicky in the first place, just to catch attention. But as it starts to develop and it starts weeding out all the garbage, you leave, and as people start to really develop this whole concept of the non-fungible token, it would really be gets more and more meaningful, and it can evolve into something else other than just pure art, right? As you said, this exclusivity thing. As much as I hate to be elitist, I hate when people say VIP elitist and all stuff. I really
Oh,
can't stand that thinking. But at the same time, it's very much a part of our society. It's very much a part of Hong Kong, especially. And sometimes people could only get into certain events or do certain things that allow them access to certain things just from having this NFT, right? So I think I think one of the fashion brands is doing that right now too. I think either Dior or somebody else, they're doing some NFTs that will allow people access to certain things after they get it. So
yeah. And
yeah,
there's another NFT that's like interesting. It's a lot of brand that jumped in. High-end brand or even sport brands like Nike or Adidas also does that. And you can buy a pair of Nike and then you get NFT Nike in the game. So your
Mm.
character will wear that to show in the game and nobody can fake it because Nike will own that design in the game, in particular game. And you can have that in your real life too.
yeah,
I
So
see.
that's going to be a dual world. You're going to have one thing in the world and one thing in the game. And I think it's going to be very interesting. Branding will do the same. You can have Dior in your real life, and you can have Dior in your avatar,
Yeah.
in your game.
Uh,
Wow.
Speaking
Pretty
of
great.
game assets, I mean, I was a big video gamer, and yeah, people get you could really seriously get some emotional attachment to certain video
You
game assets.
do.
Yeah, and then my son, I made the mistake once. Um, my son's last birthday, I asked him, "What do you want?" And then he says, "Daddy, I want such and such gun from Roblox. There's this like game and it has a gun." And then so at Roblox, it's a, it's essentially gambling for kids because it's like loot boxes, right? You spend amount of money, you buy these boxes, and then you open them, and it's not what you want, and keep on buying it. And I don't back down from a promise, so I spent about 3 or 4 thousand Hong Kong dollars just for this one gun. And it's
Whoa.
and he's like, and you know what? He played it, he loved it, and then a day later he traded it away. So
Oh,
just
For
and that's
more
your
money
money
or less
gone.
money?
yeah, so yeah, but
For more
like
or less?
what? I don't. It's not
For
really
more.
more or less. It's just a different gun. It's just a different thing. It's yeah, it's been annoying, but but yeah, it's something that I think definitely needs traction. It's just in the end what it evolves to, and from my understanding, it doesn't have to be game, have to be art. It has just have to be something of value that could benefit from having a unique tokenized system.
Yeah. You can do all sorts of spectrums. You can do certificates.
Hmm.
Hmm.
That's also, and then you can certify this person, and then you have the link. Then you can guarantee this person has been there or has been doing something.
Yeah. It could
Yeah.
be an alibi during a court case.
Yeah, and there's one thing, just to give. I mean, I'm gonna hog the time just for 30 seconds more. There's an NFT that moves, so a lot of people have a farm, rare plants farm, and then you can buy NFT in a digital world, and you can have the real plant in the real world, and then the plants grow and NFT grows.
Yeah.
And then you can sell the ownership of the plants. I mean, there's a plant fashion craze here that you can sell plants for a lot of money, and you have like specific unique plants. And I mean, NFT can apply like super broad. It's big spectrums here, but I think it's going to be very early now to predict what it's going to be, but it's going to be worth watching.
Cool.
Hmm.
Excellent. Yeah, when I was
That's very cool.
if you don't mind me saying, adding in, I actually there has to be a time when the digital world will start to really start to affect the physical world too. I know this is like kind of like a frou-frou way of thinking about it, but I previously I did my thesis about 20 years ago in architecture school, and at that time it was like pretty radical. For your thesis, you have to propose a problem and then design a building, like an architectural response to it, right? And for me, everybody was like, well, there's a site, da 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 da, and then there's a building, and such and such, right? And for me, it wasn't. There was no physical site. It was actually because at that time I was like, well, the great thing about the internet is that people, whereas the other media, it is like, there's TV, you can't reach into TV and change the TV itself. Whereas in internet, you can. And as you guys can all see it now, you put in a comment, it would be there forever, and you get canceled by all stuff too, of course. And at that time, there was my thesis was actually then okay, you would then have a party. Um, at that time, there was like a internet radio station, and they have a party every 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 week, and then they will broadcast that party, and then it will be archived. And in this case, I proposed what would happen if I would throw this party, but then instead of having it just broadcasted, other people could start to occupy that space. And how would that look internally? And how would people actually start messing with that space? And so on and so forth. So I think that there will be a time when, as you said, that certain brands are starting to link real life and avatar. Um, and it would really start to blur. I think,
Mm.
and quite a scary thought, and quite cool at the same time.
Yeah. I think when we
Well,
look into the unknown, it's scary.
Hmm.
that's
Yeah.
cool. Should we
Okay.
move on to the next topic?
Yeah, what do we have?
Alex, you want to
Um,
talk about your stock market? Uh,
stock. Well, I actually I would avoid talking about the stock market now because I am actually quite down because of it. But it's all good. I'm not letting it to get too emotional about it. I hope you're faring as well too, Marco, because you kind of in on it too. Um, yeah, I think it all leads to the invisible hand I was talking about too, and I'm going to spend a very very short time about it because it actually has sort of a way of segueing into that topic too. As I said, I was an architect before, and and uh, last week I was talking about the invisible hand that when you actually start to build something, you're already about 99% of the process has already been taken care of before you actually design it, from policy making and everything up until the building is actually built. It's probably the last 10%. I mean, last 1% actually, I would argue. So it's actually quite interesting to switch from being an architect to being an investor, which starts to um, play the hand behind the thing itself.
Yeah.
And I was actually when I first came out of school, I was working for a professor, and he was very much my mentor when I came out of school. And he would say one thing that I'll always keep in my mind. He says that basically the architect, yes, you can imagine that we're the guy who like sits there and wearing all black. By accident, I'm wearing black today, but you know, and then you would do napkin sketches, and all of a sudden, voila, it becomes like building, right? No, that of course there's a lot more steps towards that, but the main value that an architect provide is that it is almost imagine that the whole process is almost like a play, and the architect is the director, and you have different play like actors in there. You have the clients, you have the engineers, you have the contractors, subcontractors, you have the people who try to improve your building and all such. And then during this whole process, it says that your design that comes out, the object that comes out, is an evidence of the things, that the history that happens within that process. So even if there's one slightly thing that went wrong, or slightly thing that went differently, the form will be different, right? So for example, my first my first project out of school, I was a loft in New York for this couple. And at first, it was a couple's loft. It was a family loft, right? There's a couple of rooms, and one extra rooms for her father, the other extra rooms for the future baby, and then right in the middle of the process, they got a divorce, and then the guy decided to keep the apartment, and the guy is very tall, and the lady's very short. So what would happen was the guy had a big change order, and he raised all the counters very tall so that his ex-wife would never be able to really use it or make any value of it. And then he started talking about putting speakers up in the ceiling and all that stuff. And in the end, it went from being a family loft to being a bachelor loft. And then, like, he got a new girlfriend, and then this new girlfriend wants to build a huge, the whole entire apartment becomes one big shoe shrine. So so the form just kind of changes in the end. And I think that what you see in the real world, in terms of actual buildings, give another example. It was when I was up in Shanghai, I was working for a while as design head for CP Group, Lotus supermarket, and we would go scout for many different locations. And one really interesting one I remember was in Hefei. And you see this, I don't know, have you guys heard of the concept of the ghost city in China?
No.
yeah,
And
so the city that nobody lives in, but a bunch of like new buildings.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
it's basically like, and all this how it came to be was actually quite interesting. It came to be that, Marco, what's the term for most government official? Is it 5 years?
Yeah, 5 years is a normal term. Yeah.
And basically, what happens is, within that 5 years, generally the policy making, it's different, right? They go through different phases of this 5 terms, but a lot of times, what these officials want to do is they want to leave a legacy of their 5 years. So they would like come in and said, for my city, I want to have subways, I want to build this, I want to build that. And usually then they'll invite the big guy over and then, hey, this is what I've done. And as such, a lot of them starts to build these a lot big apartment complexes, huge. You see miles and miles away. That we're like, okay, has it been sold? It's like no, but a lot of people sell it, but they don't really think about the whole overall scheme about how to attract the people there. What is it exactly is is attracting people to buy these houses, and in the end, it becomes a eco city, pretty much. So of course, like and the form that was resulted was actually from the whole concept of the 5 year term, right? So
Mm.
these are sort of some of the invisible hands I was talking about, and yeah, I mean, I think it's been talked about a lot before, but I just want to kind of just relate
Yep.
my own experience to it. So that's
I
it.
think no, I think that's a good example, and to say that the market is always reacting on its own,
Yeah.
it's I mean I think whoever said that is not has very limited experience in investment, because Alex and I, we believe that there is always people kind of behind the scene manipulating something, right? Whether that is successful or not, there is a chance of success and not successful, but then there are people with enough money and resources are always trying to manipulate the market, or one or two stocks in the market.
I mean, I think because I just very into crypto space. In crypto space, they're trying to solve this problem. Transparency, decentralized, and then
Uh,
and then here comes a whale, and then more whales coming through, and then institutions come through, and then things got manipulated. And I think people push and pull between I want somebody to do something, and then I want to be my own person and have a super responsibility over my assets. And I think people are in between this push and pull, and you will always see this dynamic of I don't want people to have a hand in the big ideas, and also I want to have a say, and then also they want somebody to jump in whenever it's convenient.
yeah, yeah. But I always say about this, right? We were kind of like we all kind of born into this capitalism idea, right? We didn't create these rules, and in capitalist idea, like a company or institution who can create the most wealth will be the most worthy, right? That's kind of how we have accepted. So so whenever something is profitable or attract a lot of attentions, big corporations will always come in. Like the big whales will always come in, and when they do, it will like create a lot of like uh, their own kind of manipulation, if you will. Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways,
I think
Alex, I don't know if that's something you wanted to talk about at the beginning, or I don't know.
I think it's funny. It's one of our colleagues was very convinced that all those graphs, all those like terms and jargon are a way of trying to understand something that is very random. And
Yeah.
and as Marco says, there's always a cause and effect. There's always a reason why certain things go up and down. But in the end, like you just try to do your best to forecast it. No one knows because the stock market is completely random, and it could all just start with this random scare too. Who would have thought that the Wall Street bets would be able to cause that much trouble a couple of years ago with GameStop? I mean, that's pretty,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's that's why I said that when I go in the stock market, it's just not going to be something very. I'm not going to put a serious amount into it. I'm not going to have high expectations.
Yeah.
If I'm going big, then they're going big. It's very much like gambling because you can. It's just kind of just a blind stroke of luck a lot of times. So
Yeah. And it has like very little correlation to how the company is performing. I think in the long run, good companies will eventually win out. But during the process, the correlations of the market up and down, it's totally, yeah, random. I guess that's what Alex is, yeah, mentioned.
it's almost like baseball cards. It's like you have the teams that plays the games, and if the team's doing well, like and then the player's doing well, and then the baseball cards are worth more. But then all of a sudden, the player was exposed as a wife beater or something like that. Next thing you know, it's like the cards went down. I don't know, something very
Yeah,
very random. That it has
random.
nothing to do with the team itself or the player itself, but just things have the fandom of it. So
Yeah, I think it's all comes to risk management, how much you put, how many eggs in one basket, and then and it's about time span. It's about what is your relationship with time? Are you in a rush? Are you not in a rush? I mean, today the stock market is super crazy, and I think it's super difficult to justify, and I think all the investment is very super difficult. But at the end of the day, like Marco said, it's going to come to the value. But meantime, it's going to be a rough ride, and I think this is a relationship between you and time and your money. So this
Mm.
triangle of you, time, and money, your value and your time, your relationship with time and your money, and these three angles thing, it's this triangle. It's going to be, you have to play it right in order to get your investment, which is going to be very difficult. And during this circumstance, it's going to be hard.
Right, right, right.
Right.
Okay, well,
So
it's 32 minutes. Should we end now or
I just want
well,
to hear. I want to
yeah?
hear a little bit of your animal thing, Marco.
yeah,
My Okay, well, I just thought it's worth mentioning because a lot of people are not looking at this industry, animal health. I think everybody understand um, human health. It's a big sector, right? Like companies like Pfizer's are doing really, really well, but a lot of people are not paying attention to animal health. And in CP, we all know that we have a very long history of livestock, and we decided to create a unit that will focus on animal health, livestock health, and eventually go into pets health. It's a really big industry, and you know the good companies that are now trading in the stock market, it's well above 20 XPE. It was 30 in the earlier this year, but now the stock market is so bad, so it's about like 20 something. So it's a very good sector, and it's so underdeveloped, and the vaccination and the medication there are relatively easier to develop. So I just think a lot of people are not looking at that sector. Yeah, and I just thought a listener might be interested to kind of look into this sector and find the good companies to invest.
You know, I saw this animal insurance. The first time I
Oh,
saw it
okay.
is in Johannesburg. It's purely random. We just walked past a pet shop and I just saw this brochure, and because in Thailand this is unheard of. So I think it was 7 years ago I was in Johannesburg, but a couple of years ago I saw animal insurance in Thailand. I think people care more and more for animals. I have two cats. I have no children. So they are my children, and if I can, I will send them to school. But But anyway, so the thing is, the love for the animals, I think it's grow. And I don't remember when I was young, people mention I want to send my pets to school. You know, it's a joke, and I say it jokingly, but I wish I would have those connections and relationships with my pets, which is sound weird when it
Are
came
these
out.
are these are these health insurance or life insurance?
I think it's both. I think it's
Okay.
both, but it has very small limits. Like when my cat's old, and they're quite old, so I can't do any insurance for them. But I think the limit is 7 years old, and after 7, it's going to be super expensive, or they're not going to renew it. So
Yeah.
but it covers like a lot of things, but it's pricey because pets can be pricey.
Yeah. Yeah. And animal vaccination is getting more pricier too. So it's a good sector if you're an investor.
Cool. I definitely going to look into that. I mean, as people have less children and have more pets, I think this industry is growing.
Yeah, yeah. I actually have a company that I invested in. Right now, I'm actually I wouldn't say the chairman, but I'm actually one of the main board members, and it produces pain medicine for and this medicine and extends to pets too. So this medicine is going to come out by the end of 2023. And what it is basically it's analgesic. Basic. It's instead of when animal goes through pain, such as arthritis or the long pain of cancer, they usually gets fed with morphine, which has a lot of side effects and addictiveness. But in this case, the medicine actually gets to the medicine goes right in your brain and switched off the long pain receptor. So and it mitigates it. So we did an experiment with a dog that was like late stage cancer, and also arthritis too. And the next day, he was walking around, he was fine. So it
Wow.
makes it all more manageable. So yeah, when more develops in this company, I'll let you guys all know.
It's very
It,
interesting.
pets is definitely I mean before I went to Shanghai to work for CP Group, I was originally going to want to go to San Francisco and get my license as a dog trainer. I love dogs. So.
Oh, lovely. Yeah, my sister trained dogs too. I mean, as a hobby, and I tried to train her dog. Didn't go well, but I sleep with a dog, so one way or
Well, I mean,
another.
Wow.
I get a lot I get in a lot of trouble for saying this, but I bring up my own son by myself, and everything I learned from bringing up my son comes from training dogs. Same concept, you know. So
You, I think we all have animal instincts inside. I think we need care, we need love, we need to understand what is reward and what is a punishment. And punishment might be as simple as not getting a reward, but
yeah,
and I think that's good incentive anyway.
yeah.
I do that to humans too. It's not only you. So so rewarding system works with human also as with animals.
You want to incentivize them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
Cool.
So coming to the end, do we have any recommendations quickly before we go?
Recommendations for the next one, or
No,
recommendations?
recommend like last clip. I just had
Yeah.
like small little recommendations of things that you find what the pleasure that you found in life, and I'm just so excited to give recommendation out this week because this week I'm into Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Rogers.
Mr. Roger.
Yeah, he's super
Did
cute.
you
The
see
thing
the
is,
documentary?
come again?
The documentary they did about 3 years ago, 2018.
Yes, yes. So this is a guy who does a children's show, and he always sings songs, and he always soothes children's, um, and and the song that I listened to is called "It's You I Like," which is a very cute song, and it just the song just go like I like you, and it's just you that I like. It's not anything else around you, but it's just you. And I think it's a song that all the parents should sing for their children. And it's the song that every adult that struggle or have bad day, which I had, listen to. And it's just soothing, it's calming, and it just bring everything up to speed. So it's You I Like. It's a song I recommend. And yeah, you can try that out. It's a very kiddie song, but you can sing it for your son. I sing it for myself. It works very marvelously.
Yeah, well, I tell my son a lot of times that I just want to reassure him, like, you know, you're my favorite, favorite thing of everything in this world, right? Just to
Wow.
let him know that no matter how remote he is from me, there's always someone that in the world that cares for him the most, you know, and it's a good pillar to go with. And I think a lot of evil, I wouldn't say evil, but a lot of sadness in this world comes from the fact that people just don't feel safe when they're little, and then they start developing certain ways of coping with it. And a lot of times they just kind of veer the wrong way. So yeah.
Yeah, I agree completely. And we can talk about this next time because it also touched the money aspect that when they feel insecure, they do funny things with their money, including losing them. So I think it's
Yeah,
interesting point that you bring up.
that's cool.
Yeah, if I were to share something recommendation, I just finished building a PC for my son,
Wow.
which, of course, it was his birthday. We just and I decided to encourage him. He loves computer stuff, so I went to Mongkok, which is like computer central, and then he says, "I want to build a computer." I'm like, "Oh, great! This is awesome. You get to really learn how to put everything together." It's a good process. In the end, I was the one who ended up building it, but it's actually pretty soothing. It's like as you guys all know, I also do a lot of figure painting and everything. So work with my hands, and those are really the time that you can actually sit down, and just think of things, and you actually allow yourself to process through these things. So that's what I do a lot. And lately, of course, I'm not going to build a lot of PCs because they're expensive and there's really no use for it. But yeah, it's worth to just build it with your kids once in a lifetime. It's pretty interesting. All it is, you just buy the
Nice.
parts, the people, and the guy in the store was very much like, "You haven't built a PC yet. You're gonna fail. You're gonna do that." And yeah, I'm actually quite happy to say that it was a success. It's not easy, but and you kind of feel your way through there. And in about 2 days, I managed to complete it. So yeah, it's pretty cool.
I think it's
Wow.
cool and it gives a lot of value to your son too.
Yeah, yeah. I made him sit there and watch me, even though he's not doing it. I just made him sit there and watch me.
Wow,
So.
that's cool.
Wow. Sounds good. I watched Love and Thunder, and it was a really good movie. It's very funny.
Okay.
Yeah.
On Netflix?
No, no, in the theater.
Okay.
Thor, the new
Okay.
Thor
Yeah,
movie.
Thor, Love and Thunder,
Love and Thunder Thor. Okay. I'm very out of the movie thing. When you say
and
Love and Thunder, like anyway,
well, Nettie Portman, Alex's classmate was in there.
She was a
wow.
classmate. She was there in school at the same time I was, so she's not my classmate. Yeah,
Okay. But cool enough. You study in the same school, same year.
yeah.
Wow. Super cool.
Awesome.
All right. I think that's about it. And then
Cool.
then
Excellent.
cool. We'll see you
Let me end
guys
it.
in 2 weeks.
Thank you so much, guys. Thank
Okay,
you.
thank you.
Okay. Bye bye.
Yeah.